I think everybody has an emotional connection to this tournament. It's more than baseball. It's about this community, and it wasn't a decision that any of us took lightly. It's just when we collectively looked at everything, this tournament it's a year-round event. We're all volunteers. We all work around the clock all year round. Last year, we reintroduced a new ticketing process that literally took all year. The city of Farmington's a fantastic partner. We work closely with them and the National AABC board to really provide the best tournament possible. So it's hard to, if we don't know what the next 2 months are going to look like, and the information and data that we are provided says that you will not be allowed to have a tournament in 2 months. It is very hard to commit on our end, as well as the teams, the vendors. It really is a decision that we had to kind of look at our trigger date as when's the latest that we can delay a decision.
Got it. And so you've been probably looking at this and watching this for several months even ahead of making this decision, right? And as things were developing since February, March, I would think.
That's correct. And the tough thing with this situation is, as you know, every state is different. So not only is every state different, but our corner of the state, as everyone is well aware, is also different. So it's been something that we've been looking at. When they canceled the College World Series, it's like, okay. Then the Junior College World Series, which is a similar event to ours in Grand Junction. And then ultimately we made our decision. Since then, Little League World Series canceled for the first time. The Pony World baseball organization and softball organization canceled for the first time. It's just this unfortunate kind of every day you wake up and first time canceled. Iron Horse bicycle race in Durango. It's just an unfortunate pattern that.
Sure. Well, and we've seen Riverfest, of course, this month, which has had to cancel for similar reasons, I'm sure, as well.
Which is another event that's, it's similar to the Connie Mack World Series, where, you see people that maybe you haven't seen all year.
Right.
It's just such a strong community event. It feels just empty without it.
Well, and the other question would be, too, if you hadn't canceled, who would be playing in the Connie Mack World Series if some of these smaller tournaments or other city tournaments or regional tournaments were canceled, right?
Right, and thank you for asking that, because as I kind of been talking this last week and kind of letting people know that the Connie Mack World Series is a destination tournament. There is a process for getting the teams here. There are qualifying tournaments around the country. There are regional tournaments around the country, and those are kind of build-ups to league play, to summer baseball. The teams get together. They have to be in shape. They form a team. They get strong, and then they go to these tournaments. So this has really halted amateur baseball on a nationwide level. There's no amateur baseball being played. Therefore, there's no qualifiers. There's no regional events. There's no baseball. So without baseball, it's hard to have a destination tournament. And that was something that the Collegiate World Series and the tournament in Grand Junction felt is, if our build up to this tournament is canceled or halted, it's hard for us to do what we do unless we dramatically change what it looks like. But even if we were to do that, COVID-19 and the governor's, phased model says that we couldn't even do that. So it's hard to prepare. We just felt like our hands were tied, and we didn't have much of an option.
Sure.
To do it and keep people safe.
Right. And some of those other things were about gathering of large numbers of people. And you've got a beautiful baseball stadium with a capacity of, you were telling me, 6,500 people. And how do you do that if you sell, and you've sold it out, right? Everyone wants to get a ticket.
The biggest challenge with our tournament is that it's hard to get tickets. I don't have tickets. My family has
Well, you
tickets,
shouldn't need tickets. If
but
you're
I
the
don't
general,
have tickets.
if you're the chairman, you shouldn't need tickets.
But
I understand what you're saying.
Assumed that
right.
they're not out there to get.
That's right.
And we were so excited because this year we were going to have more seats. We're in the middle of a seating renovation where we're taking general admission and we're taking section 25, the bleacher type style seats down the lines. They're gone. If you drive by the park, they are gone. We're bringing them into the grandstand so they will all be comfortable seats with backrest. We have more box seats. we're putting a new net out there.
I can see the frustration in your
yes,
face
we were
when you
so
talk about
excited.
all these things you were doing.
We really worked hard with the city of Farmington to come. We were going to celebrate this new look to already a beautiful park, and it's going to have to wait till next year. But to your point, it seats around 6,500 people. The seats are sold out. In the phased last week, the governor detailed her phased approach. Phase 3, according to them, is supposed to be introduced early July if social distancing is practiced accordingly.
Best case scenario.
That's correct.
Right.
And even in the phase 3, it says no gatherings larger than 100 people, which makes it impossible for us to plan and do what we do, given that we have a stadium that is sold out at capacity
right
before the tournament starts.
Sure. And it's not just you and the committee that's having to deal with issues like this. Even Major League Baseball is having to deal with how you can play a sporting event with maybe no fans in the stands and
yes,
and do it some other way. And I think that's still a lot up in the air at the moment. But there's a lot of things that are going on. The other thing I want to ask you too about is that the Army. It really is a small army of volunteers that makes this happen, and the host families that make this happen too. And that was another thing where you may not have as many folks financially able to host players because of maybe they're out of work, maybe they're furloughed, maybe who knows what's going on with some of these folks.
You're absolutely correct. And the Connie Mack World Series Committee is a vast, just a wonderful group of individuals that make this tournament happen behind the scene every year. We have people that have been on that committee for 20 plus years that, it's their favorite event, and that's what they choose to volunteer and to give back to this community, and that's what makes it special. The host organization, the host family organization, excuse me, that's, in my eyes, it's the heart and soul of this tournament. They welcome these boys. Yes, we have a world-class premier event for the players, but a lot of times when these players come back, they say, I really connected with my host family. Like, that was a once in a lifetime experience that only Farmington can provide. And that was threatened. There's severe economic strain on this community. So we have families that have kept players that have been impacted, from a financial standpoint, where it costs a lot of money to feed 17-year-old boys.
No kidding, right?
A lot of Gatorade, a lot of food. So we have the economic strain coupled with the COVID-19 strain, which is, and we didn't get to this point, but are the boys comfortable coming here and staying in a family's home? Are the families comfortable with players coming from all over the country and coming into their home? So that was something that was certainly considered. Absolutely. It wasn't what made, what brought us to the ultimate decision, but it was absolutely factored in, because that is just, like I said, it's really the heart and soul of this tournament. Right.
Well, let me ask you we'll change gears a little bit and
Sure.
talk about next year.
Yes.
Because I think you've been asked to stay on as chairman, which I think is great, and you've agreed to do that.
Yes, so I'm going to stay on as the chairman, which I was very excited to do, and then Mark Varley will continue into next year as the vice chairman.
And so work is underway now to maybe start planning for next year, and of course there's a lot of moving parts and conditions changing minute by minute almost, but the hope is to figure out a way to do something next year.
Yes, and really, we took a vow that we have to make this decision this year, but now we need to start looking at how do we come back bigger, better, stronger, and just put on even a larger celebration of baseball and community when we can come together under the lights at Ricketts next year. We're going through with the seating renovation. We were already working on that prior to this decision being made, so we'll unveil that. We'll have just a fantastic tournament. We were talking with former Major Leaguer Mike Dunn, who grew up here, played at Piedra Vista. He was going to come and, join us for this year's tournament. We're going to celebrate his career and induct him into the Hall of Fame. So
nice.
That's excited to announce that for the first time publicly. And it's just going to have to wait until next year, but we will put on the best baseball tournament in light of this decision next year.
And so that means whatever the new normal is, because we really don't know what that is, but the Connie Mack World Series will be working within the confines of whatever that is to to put this tournament on.
Absolutely. We're going to adjust, adapt like everyone else, right? So, you and I were talking before we went live that this is just impacting everyone in very unique ways. There's no doubt that baseball will go on. It's just I don't know how it's going to look. We're all kind of playing this waiting game together. But what I do know is the field is going to be absolutely exquisite. Doug and the city of Farmington, Shauna and her crew have that field. It's I drive by it and my heart breaks because it's.
You just want to play baseball on that grass,
and to
don't
the
you?
seniors,
right.
and to the players that are not going to have the Connie Mack World Series. It breaks my heart, and we're just going to have to, whatever it looks like,
right,
make it as good as we can next year.
And that leads me to another line of questions about some of the things that I've seen in a lot of communication from the Connie Mack World Series about the safety of, you talked about your players,
yes,
your host families, but also your fans, right? I mean, you want to make sure you have an event where people can come and feel safe, and again, some folks may not feel so comfortable going out into crowds after all this is over, and you want to make sure that everyone has a safe experience.
That is correct, and we couldn't imagine having a tournament that is good for this age group. Or you can't do that. We're all members of this community, whether no matter the age, no matter what county we come from. That is a place we come to celebrate everyone. Everyone comes under the lights of Ricketts. We have this experience with one another. We watch world-class baseball, and if it's not safe for everyone, it's not safe for anyone.
Right.
And that was our top priority.
And that's what you'll be working on this year, I'm sure,
That's
again,
correct.
as we see some of these new mandates from the state and some of the other recommendations, and who knows what things will look like a year from now, but we hope much improved.
Yes, absolutely.
So we will see. If folks want to keep in touch with some of the decisions or maybe help out or get on a committee to help, what's the best way to do that in this planning year, I guess, for next year?
So reach out to us at any time. Any questions, Connie Mack World Series at gmail.com. You can also reach out on the Facebook page. I, as well as other people, are very active on that. Instagram, we're present on social media. I will do my best to respond to you appropriately. Whatever the question, if you want to get involved, I said it last time I was on here, Connie Mack World Series at gmail.com, or send us a message on Facebook.
Very good. Well, Tyson, I appreciate you coming in to explain all these, again, must have been heartbreaking decisions, but well thought out decisions to take us where we are this year.
Yes, very, like I said, gut-wrenching and just soul-crushing, but at the end of the day, we know that folks are going to be safe, and it was an unfortunate decision, but the right one.
Bigger and better next year, you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
All right, can't wait. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Tyson Snyder, the general chairman of the Connie Mack World Series, my guest here on KSJE, and I'll be back with more in just a moment, everybody. The time right now is coming up on 8:28.
Scientists around the world are working furiously to create COVID-19 tests, and a lot of them.